Yeah, no, I played some Apex Legends just a moment ago, and it was ranked, and I was the last survivor out of like a 1v2, and I fucked it up at the end. And now I'm like, you know that feeling when you do something that like takes a lot of adrenaline out of you, video game wise or real life wise, and then you just feel like this, like the shakes and the the rush was leaving you, and you just end up having a bit of a sweat. That's how I feel right now. Doesn't help that I also had G Fuel to energize me for this reading. So, whew, all right. It's been a while since we streamed SCP. Almost a good month actually. It's 3 days away from a month. So, I'm glad to be back. I hope you guys are having a good time. Enjoy. I did tell people on the SCP Discord that I'm streaming right now, but I think sadly that won't be a thing that's gonna happen, and I don't want to listen to that song right now that's on. I need to get rid of a couple songs. I need to like spring clean my song collection. Alright, but without further ado, without further distractions, alright? Let's go and start Philosopher's Cheese, which is definitely a name that I did not expect to read today. Very short too. But I'm still... Whoa! Okay, let's do this. Save. Samples of -1 are stored in the hazardous materials ring of Site 197 within a chamber constructed from a brass alloy with 42% zinc content. All personnel interacting with -1 must wear level Z hazmat suits constructed from -1's resistant materials to prevent accidental exposure. Samples of -2 do not warrant special containment and may be stored at the discretion of assigned researchers. Wait a minute. Hold on. Oh. What? Who is talking? Yes, I am. Yes, I am streaming. Yeah. Okay, so we got hazmat suits. That's already, even though it is considered safe, we got hazmat suits, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, this shit's gonna be baller. But hey, apparently you can make material that's resistant to it. -1 is an odorless dark yellow liquid recovered in 1998 from a Marshall Collins dog. Of course, is it an auction facility? Okay, no, it's just facility. Because I read so many like facilities and auctions happening at the same time with Marshall Collins dog. In Boston, a chemical analysis have shown to be a compound of sulfur, mercury, and several unidentified elements. The Foundation currently possesses 53 liters of -1. That's a lot of chemical piss. All attempts to synthesize additional quantities of -1 have been unsuccessful. When -1 comes in contact with solid matter, it will transform said matter into a sample of -2 solid matter. So I assume humans count that as well. The transformation takes from 2 to 37 minutes per kilogram and is usually accompanied by heavy structural damage caused by differences in density between -2 and initial materials. Like solid matter, that would count our skin and our flesh. I mean, okay. So, but it has but I assume the container it is contained in, would be resistant to that. Otherwise, it would just make the container do -2, correct? Because wouldn't that suck? Wouldn't that suck? You like contain it and you're like, we're good, and then like you leave and you come back 2 days later and you see the container became -2 and you're like, well, that's a problem. How else are we gonna do this? What we're gonna do? But I guess if it's a mixture of sulfur, mercury, and several the unidentified elements is a big issue, isn't it? The sulfur, mercury you can combat against, but the unidentified elements, that's gonna cause some problems. A small number of materials have been found that are not affected by -1. Of those, brass is currently used in containment as the cheapest and most practical alternative. Refer to document 1600-M4 for the full list of immune materials found so far. So, okay, there's a couple. I got another message. Let me just... -2 is an edible product highly similar to cheese. Well, as a Swiss person, I am saying, why would you contain this? This sounds like a very good choice of thing to have, you know? Of course, at the same time, you don't want to really eat your family by accident. Right? You don't want to be like, wow, there's a statue of cheese. Let me just break a finger off. And it's like, no, that's Aunt Maggie. And you're like, ah, shit. You know what I mean? Like, you don't want that. Coloration, texture, and flavor of Dash 2 samples varies widely based on materials used in their creation. Consumption of Dash 2 is safe and will not cause any lasting ill effect, even in cases where materials used in creation of the sample have been poisonous or otherwise inedible. So, and if, okay, that's cool. You can probably add a bit of a, sometimes it tastes like a Gouda, a little bit of Gouda, a little bit of blueberry cheese, maybe a bit of Swiss cheese, Parmesan. Who knows, what else? Raclette cheese, you know, all that good stuff. Raw pork meat, yellow, medium, hard. D-class subject described the sample as having a distinct bacon flavor. Okay, now you're just showing off, okay? Having cheese that tastes a little bit like bacon. Now you're just rubbing it in our faces that we can't have this in real life. Rotten meat, color ranges from green to purple, extremely soft. Subject was reluctant to consume the sample, describing it as foul. No symptoms of food poisoning have been noted after the consumption. Okay, hold on. They described it as foul. Does it mean they ate it and it tasted foul, or it just looked foul? Because it says reluctant to consume. Which I guess consume means to swallow it down. Like you actually like full on like that. Wood of Quercus robur, English oak, dark yellow hard. Subject described the sample as dry and crispy. 98% pure gold, yellow soft. Subject was unable to describe the taste of the sample beyond the fact that it was extremely satisfying. The subject requested access to additional samples repeatedly and became depressed and uncooperative after his requests were denied. You just let me eat that pure gold, bro. Just a pure gold cheese, man. Let me have a taste of that Fort Knox cheese. Mercury, black, soft, and elastic. Must be weird to have some, like a mercury substance added to normal mercury. Subject described the sample as viscous and tasteless. No symptoms of mercury poisoning have been noted afterwards. And SCP, dark blue, medium, hard. Upon approaching the sample, subject said that the sample was communicating with him, persuading him to consume it and describing its gastronomical values. The subject claimed that the sample advised him to consume it with the beverage. No beverage was provided to the subject. After consuming the sample, the subject described it as salty. No lasting mind-altering effects have been noted. This is a fun one to start. Again, as a Swiss person, this is excellent. Honestly, this is a good time. We need this one. Can you imagine just making cheese out of everything? Can you imagine how much that would resolve on world hunger, on plastic waste? Hey, man. Instead of throwing away the plastic, make cheese out of it. But in the same time, world hunger would be solved, but then, a lot of shit would get eroded after a while. Like you would lose so much, because after a while we would not have any plastic anymore. And then what? Because we need the plastic to recycle it and reuse it for things. So if we don't do that, if we make everything to cheese, yeah, for a couple extra 100 years we can definitely have enough food. Actually, do we even need plastic after that? I guess we... Yeah, nah. I mean, it depends how humans would go, you know, like how crazy would they go with this. If they decided like, oh, let's just make everything out of cheese, then like all the materials that we have, metal, plastic, and all that would disappear after a while, and everything could be cheese, right? I guess... I don't know. And then after a while, like, you know, the earth will not have enough things to give us to use. Like, Imagine having a bottle in after a couple 100 years when you don't have that anymore because we ate every bottle in existence and every material to make bottles doesn't exist anymore because we made cheese out of it. So I don't know. I guess there are some things that like you just have to be careful not to make into cheese. But yeah, you could solve a lot of the plastic issue. But at the same time, if you're not careful, you might transform the whole earth into cheese. So who knows? But it's a cool idea. I like that. I don't know why I went so deep about the idea of world hunger solved with this liquid that makes everything to cheese. That's that's kind of weird to think about.